Hi everybody. Trying to fix my hair. Hi everybody. I'm like, hi everybody. You know when you're trying to hide that you're doing something? Might as well say that you are. Hey, what's up? I'm Jay Victoria, the Energy Queen. Thank you for clicking on this video. I assume that you are just chilling. This is what we do when we watch YouTube. I love it. Chill, baby, chill. But I want to tell you something really cool because I work with energy for a living. I have a business called Energy Queen. I see energy visually, and that has taught me so much. And I love to teach other people what I know from watching the way energy moves. And I am celebrating energy hacks this week in my business, Energy Queen. Did I mention it's called Energy Queen? And I have a Facebook, Instagram, where you can see on my YouTube profile, but let me get into it so you're not bored. I'm gonna share some energy hacks this week, or right now, sorry, in this video. I'm in a silly mood, with you personally also. It's you, just you and me here. And I wanna share with you hacks for, I think the thing that humans are very interested in, maybe the most, let's just say we're quite interested in it, wealth, and also something that can get you wealth, feminine energy. So I'm gonna share three big three big things that all really relate to wealth, but the second and third are specifically about feminine energy, but that also helps create wealth. So I'm going to explain how you can actually hack your life energetically for more wealth. And watch this whole video. Don't get bored. There's tons of information, and hopefully I'm a tiny ounce entertaining as well, because I am a comedian as well in New York as well. And as well, I also as well, okay, I'll stop. But that was, these things can have a real impact on your life is what I'm saying. And I mentioned that I'm a comedian in New York because we all have big dreams, and I'm originally from Canada, and that was my big dream. And through the things that I now teach other people, I was the first person that I tested them out on, and I actually made my big dream come true. I have been in New York doing comedy for 5 years. So whatever it is for you, I want you to know that you can do it, your big dream. And I'm somebody who's here to help assist you to do that. And wealth is something that we need. Wealth is something that I think I just want to say before I get into the specific hack that I'm going to tell you, that basically I'm seeing, when we talk about being in the matrix, or we talk about, a lot of people talk about, oh, I quit my corporate job. I just exited the whole 9-to-5 crazy limiting structure. I want to say something about that. And that's that, we really need a balance of feminine and masculine energy, and the world, no doubt, has been ruled by masculine energy, and has needed desperately, and still needs, and it's still coming into balance with feminine. And to quickly explain, masculine energy is the physical world. It's logic, it's practicality, it's very much just sort of the practical side of money, like the numbers, and just sort of having those physical things provided for. Also, the first, if you look at the chakra system, the lower chakras are all about masculine, because they're all about, your spirit being connected to the physical world. The higher chakras are about the feminine, and a lot of times we're still stuck working on trying to figure out the masculine part of our lives that we could spend our whole life, and many of our ancestors did, trying to just figure out, how do I fucking get more money? Anybody else have Irish potato famine ancestors out there like me? That was very real. And yet there's this sort of other part of life, right? The energetic side of life that is uncanny and is serendipitous and is miraculous and has appeared in your life many times. And what I'm going to be teaching you in this video is, how do you invite that? How do you harness that? How do you actually make that part of your strategy, part of logic in your life, part of practicality? How can you actually use not just the physical side of life and try to toil? I call it toiling because I think it's a fun kind of witchy word. We toil with our 9 to 5. We toil with trading hours for dollars. And I don't even think that's a bad thing, I'm going to say. Like, if you get a job and you make money, like, you. I think that's awesome. But let's not just live in that world, is what I'm saying. And also, we don't have to completely exit that world, is also what I'm saying. What if we have a balance of both? Balance of both. And the energetic world is, unbeknownst to many of us, just as real as the physical world. But we all agree on the physical world because we can all see it. The energy world, it's sort of like, maybe it exists, maybe it doesn't. But what I want to tell you is that it is the supernatural. What we see manifest is only a reflection of the energy world. If this is real, imagine how much, here's a surprise. If this is real, it's a cat toy. Oh God, just God, I love it. It looks like a little showgirl. But if this is real, it looks real, right? It's pretty real. I think it's pretty real. It's real, right? Seems real. I think it's real. This is real. Then whatever created what's real and that we see, whatever it is, must be super real. And that is actually the truth about the energy world. And your soul knows that, but because we can't see it with our eyes while we're humans, it's so easy to dismiss it. But it's not smart to dismiss it because, again, this is the world that's creating this world. Yes, you can do things in this world to manipulate this world, the physical world. We can do things. I can take this pen and put it over here. You know, you can go to a job and you can do something. And I'm not saying that that doesn't matter, right? It does. But there's this other part of life that is equally matters. So the energy hacks for wealth can really change your life because it's not just moving about the world anymore that is making you money. What about the times when you just made money and you didn't even know it was coming? What about the times someone just gave you money or you found money? What about the times that, you know, there's so many times money has come to you, right? That didn't involve you having to do the traditional things. Isn't that true for all of us? So how do you do that more often? Is what I'm saying. And why not do it more often, right? So that's what this wealth hack is about. I learned these wealth hacks, by the way, through when I first moved to New York. I had to figure out how to make money. And these are the things that I not only tried out and that worked, but I observed people who were wealthy in New York, because New York is a place where you can do that. There's a lot of different people of different class structures, like literally all around you. And I was in a position where I could be closely observant of really wealthy people, and I noticed that they did certain things that we can all do, but that most of us are waiting to have wealth to do. And the hack is you do them anyway, and that's what can actually create wealth, okay? So here are the hacks. I call them the energies of wealth. And again, these are things that you could start doing even if you had $0. And sometimes I did have $0, and they would help me. I would end up making money, attracting money, making a sale, doing, something. It would prime my energy for that reaction to happen. So the first energy of wealth I want to tell you about is, I think the most important. It's sort of like my go-to, and that's boundaries. I noticed that wealthy people have very strong boundaries, and I want you to think of someone wealthy that you know and how they have strong boundaries, and they don't try to control people. They literally just kind of come back into their own energy, and they decide, is this situation good for me or not? And if it's not, they will literally, and I've seen this, you guys, they will literally just walk away. They'll literally just be like, nope, walk away. And I was sort of baffled by that. I was like, what about like everybody's feelings? It's like, no, if you have very strong boundaries, that's just something natural to people who have wealth, but you can have that. That doesn't cost you anything. You see what I mean? And that can help to give you the energy of wealth. Boundaries are so important to wealth. I will say also about boundaries that if I wasn't making money, attracting money in my life, I would literally sit down, get out my phone. You can do this or not, but I would get out my phone and I would look at my messages and I would look at where did somebody infringe upon my boundaries. Because it's sort of like your energy will start like leaking. It's like you can't contain the energy of wealth, which is actually the energy of self-value. That's another big gem right there. The energy of wealth is the same frequency as self-value. Stay with me here, okay? It'll all come together. Sometimes I talk around, but I'm putting the puzzle together. So the energy of wealth is the same frequency as self-value. That is why people who aren't even necessarily good people can be rich. Okay? Because if they value themselves, that is the frequency of wealth. That will create wealth. That will attract wealth. That's the thing that is hard to define. That can just be those times where you just get money out of nowhere. Or you get an idea about how to go about doing something. Things like that. So the energy of wealth is the energy of self-value. And that's why boundaries can create wealth. And that's a really simple step that you can take, looking at your life. And what energy and even boundaries is really about is beliefs. And so I would get on my phone and I'd be like, who said something about me or to me, or even insinuated something that I knew wasn't true, but I didn't bother to like push that out. And that's where the boundary comes in, your personal boundaries. Like, where did they say something that was like, I didn't agree with, and it kind of like took a piece of me? Where was that? Because the thing is, when people infringe upon your boundaries, when they say even a small dismissive comment about you, when they, something, even if it's tiny, it's just like if you don't disagree with it, it's like your soul is always watching and seeing what you're choosing to believe, which affects your energy, because energy is beliefs. So if you don't disagree with it, it's basically like you're saying, yeah, that is true about me. If somebody says something about you that's negative and you don't disagree with it, it's the same as you saying that negative thing about yourself and agreeing with it, if that makes sense. So do you need to go around arguing with everybody all the time? No. But the point is, you have to make sure that you're communicating to your own soul what you believe about yourself, and you have to make that a self-valuing choice to have the energy of self-value, hence the energy of wealth. Makes sense? So boundaries are really important to look at, because if somebody said something about you and you didn't push it out, you didn't disagree with it, you didn't have a boundary with it, what happens is you're basically saying, yeah, I am shitty. Yeah, I am irresponsible. Yeah, I am whatever they said about me. And I will bet if you're struggling with wealth, people will be saying that about wealth specifically for you. They might treat you like you don't have money, or like you're desperate, or they might sort of just treat you a certain way. But I want you to think about the wealthy version of you, because the other thing about wealth is that, and this is another hack, is like the wealthy version of you is you. Think about it. Where else are they? We all feel like we're going to get $1 million someday, right? Okay, well, where is that person? They're you. It's still going to be you. You are here right now. It's you. So it's not possible for you to be defined even by not having or having. It's like you just are you. So if you believe that you're going to have wealth someday, then it's you, and it's you right now. So you should never be agreeing with, even if your circumstances say you have $1 or you have $0, you have negative dollars, which I think is hilarious. I don't know, it's funny. Like the idea of negative dollars, but like sometimes we need to, okay, it's fine. But you know what? Okay, let me come back. It's like, what do you believe about yourself? Because the energy of wealth is self-value. Are you believing, valuing thoughts and beliefs about yourself? And when people say things around you, what do you do with that? And there are a few things that you can do. But what it comes down to with boundaries is this. It comes down to what you believe about yourself. I used to, in the early days of me testing out these theories, always correct people. I used to always be like, I would say it to them. I would say, I don't believe that about myself. And you can do that. And there's a strategy to this. The way that you set down boundaries with people out loud is you talk about yourself. Because you don't control other people. You can't tell other people what to believe. They could believe something about you. You can't do anything about that. You choose your own beliefs, though, right? So you always use I and me messages when you're setting down any boundary. That's all you talk about. You just talk about, well, this is true for me, this is what I want, and this is what I believe about myself. And that's what I would do. I would get on my phone, I would literally text people, and I would look at who said what, and I would zone in on that, and I would just like correct it. And it would be awkward sometimes, because it would be like, why the fuck am I doing this? And they would be like, oh, I mean, I don't know what they would think, but all I know is that after I did it, I would start being able to attract and retain money again. It was very real. And so I did it all the time. I would do it even if somebody said something. And then it evolved to somebody might say something and then I would correct them under my breath, because I realized at a certain point that it doesn't even matter if they hear me. All that matters is what I tell myself. So boundaries are something that can support your wealth, and you can have them outwardly with people, and that can be very, very powerful. But I think what I'm saying is that you don't need to be so nitpicky with everything, or else you might drive yourself and everybody crazy. There are moments where you do need to assert, things to people out loud. There are other times when you need to realize, like, all that really matters is that I hear myself. You can use that little trick. That's a good little hack. You can whisper to yourself under your breath what you really believe about yourself. Or you can just even do something on your own to prove what they said wrong. If somebody says something about you that's negative, it doesn't matter if they know that you're fixing that within yourself. You can just do it for yourself. You know what I mean? It's all about your own self-perception and your own self-value. That's what creates your wealth, and you're in charge of that. So, and also doing things, again, people don't have to be aware. It's like maybe you're not valued in certain areas and you need to just leave, or you need to set up, you need to make a decision for yourself, or you need to, you just need to make a choice that's good for you. So it's all about you and yourself. That relationship is what your wealth is really about. And so what kills wealth is victimhood. And so if you feel like a victim of anybody, I would very quickly try to remedy that by putting the power back in your hands and having a boundaries, self-value approach, and saying, I can't be a victim of them because I can't control them. That's the truth. You just can't control anybody. It's so easy to be a victim, but if you bring the power back to yourself, it's really easy to remedy that. Come back to yourself. Well, what can you do about it? What can you do for yourself? That's literally creating a wealth belief system, wealth energy. It's very powerful. Okay, I spent like 20 minutes on boundaries, but that is so important. And honestly, I swear if every homeless person did this, they would not be homeless. Like, it's that important. It really, really is. And it's something you have to not only be aware of, but you have to work on, you have to practice, you have to really be diligent with it. And not only will it give you more wealth, it will just make you feel good about yourself, and it will help your relationships be better. It will just help your life be better. You know what I mean? I think so many things are not just about money. They're about all the things we really want, which is just an amazing life. Okay, so there's one thing. Another thing about the energy of wealth is that So there are certain things that the wealthy version of you would do and that wealthy people do. Another one, so boundaries, that's number one. Talking a lot, okay. Number two, relaxation. If you are literally overworking yourself, I want you to think about what rich or wealthy people do. They go on vacation, they relax. Even if they work hard, they make sure they rest. Like, it's just how it is. So if you are not literally resting, you're not going to be balanced and your energy's not going to be working for you. So relaxation, even if it's like 1 hour at night and you're working all the time, make that like a focused, relaxed hour. Don't be like in the space of like stress all the time. You know, you have to really like lean into relaxation. You don't need a lot of money to relax either. You can just literally have a nap, you know? Wealthy people, the wealthy version of you is going to relax more, so do it now. Build it into your day. I like to build relaxation into my day through just like having comfy clothes at home. I'm having cocoa right now. Every morning, you know, one of the things that I love is just having a hot drink to look forward to. Like, that feels luxurious to me, and it costs like $5 like to get a like thing of matcha or whatever. Like, it's just like, those are the things that if you can make yourself feel nourished and relaxed, things that make you feel happy, whatever that is for you throughout your day, that is what the wealthy version of you would be like. And you don't have to wait to be wealthy to give yourself that lifestyle, because not all of it is going to require money. Sometimes it's just a choice. Like, am I going to literally just like massage my feet and like be cozy? You know, that's important. So boundaries, relaxation, and empowerment. Empowerment is the third one. I noticed the wealthy people that I was around had this fascinating worldview. I was just so like fascinated by it. And it was that when even the most impossible problem would come up, they had this attitude of like, we are gonna fix it. And almost like, it was almost like a battle, like a war attitude. Like, we're gonna die fixing this. That was the attitude. We're gonna die fixing this. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna die fixing it. We're gonna call everybody. We're gonna blah, 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 blah. I was like, whoa, what is this? And that's not something that you have to purchase. Again, that's a choice. And so I want you to think about the problems in your life. What if you had that attitude? I'm kind of getting chills. It's like, what if you had that attitude? That's just a choice. It doesn't cost you money, right? Because again, wealth energy is not victim energy. So that's another victim hack to get rid of victim energy, is, which again drains wealth, is empowerment. And you are empowered in unlimited quantities. You could send 1,000 emails to people today trying to fix the problem. You could call 1,000 people trying to, you could research, you could, there's so many things that you can do to fix any problem. And that's the exact attitude that I notice wealthy people have, that you can have right now, is like, what if you just were willing to die? You know what I mean? And you never do. And I always was fascinated that they somehow fixed every single problem. It's like just the attitude was the victory. It's like, that can create so much victory just by being willing to do everything possible. I was like, I would watch these miracles happen. And so I believe that all of us can be like that, but we don't, because we're discouraged, because we feel bad about ourselves because we're not wealthy yet, blah, 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 blah. You don't need to have money to be like this, is my point, okay? Another hack for, I think I actually might leave it there. I think that's pretty good for wealth. if another one comes to me, I have like a lot, and sometimes I have like ones I add on, but those are like pretty much the top three for wealth that I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Um, so on to feminine energy, which also creates wealth, especially if you identify as a woman. This is really, really big for you. Um, Feminine energy is a miracle. It's so incredible. And there are a lot of different, when I start talking about it, I feel it. I'm probably going to transmit it to you. Like, I've heard people describe the feminine as mother goddess, mama goddess. Um, I actually truly believe that feminine energy, what we call feminine energy, is the Holy Spirit. They're the same. There's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit is what we call feminine energy. Look at my eyes. Like, it's kind of creepy, right? In a good way. Like, yeah. um, so feminine energy is totally divine. It's totally miraculous. The Holy Spirit, you can just feel it. You can see it. It is just such a miracle. And it always attracts wealth. It just does. I would actually, if I wasn't attracting wealth, and this is specifically for women especially, like, women need to put their feminine energy first. If you identify as a woman, we all have feminine energy and masculine energy, but if you identify as a woman, you need to put your feminine first. And in this masculine society, we're not taught that. For men, you can put your masculine first. You can wake up and have a schedule. You can take action. You can, we just talked about empowerment. Like, you can be that kind of person, and you can hustle in the classic sense, and you will have success as a man if you do that. As a woman, you will burn out. And that happened to me. I became homeless here in New York City. I have a lot of stories to tell. But at one point, I actually was working so much that I had nothing. Can you imagine that? And that is how I learned this very important lesson, that it took me actually working with a very feminine coach to even, it's not kind of like, and that's what we do with coaching sometimes, is like, our coach lends us their beliefs, lends us their energy. We kind of latch on like suckling, at their milk. Like, we're like, and she did that for me, and I started making money again. And I was like, what is happening? How am I making money again? This is crazy. But it's like, I needed, because I was like so baffled, because I was like, but I was working hard. Why am I making money now? It was because of her feminine energy. And so this is sort of like a behind the scenes thing that really matters for your wealth, especially as a woman, but it's sort of unspoken. And if you look at wealthy women, they lots of the times are connected to their feminine energy. And I say feminine energy not in a stereotypical way, because we all have our own expression of it. It's the Holy Spirit. It's the presence of your spirit. And so how do you have feminine energy? Okay. Oh, I don't want to leave out anyone non-binary. So men put masculine first, which conjures your feminine. That creates balance. Women put feminine first, which then bridges with your masculine. You get ideas, you get inspiration, and then you have energy to carry them out. If you're non-binary, my motto for that is you work when work feels restful, and rest when rest feels productive. And that's a good, I've said that before, but that's a good, like, kind of, thing that could help anybody, I think, to just be more balanced. But feminine, I talk about feminine energy, activating your feminine energy. I feel like a lot of us are like, cool, how do I do that? And so my hack for that is translating the word feminine into presence, which is what that whole thing really is. If you think about, the masculine, it's about doing. Feminine is about being. And so if you can't be present, your feminine energy will suffer. And the feminine is also receptive. So for a woman, it's like that's when you stop receiving. That's when the money stops flowing. That's when, you know, you're starting to scrounge and getting stressed, and you don't realize that the more you work, you're actually working against your energy, which just wants you to stop, because you have to get present again. And what I always find is that the more present you get, you get ideas. It's like, imagine this. It's like you have 100 things that you could do. Like you write down like 100 things, like to-do lists. Like, what if there was just one thing that you had to do that day that would fix the problem? Like one. If you get present enough with your spirit, it will come to you. Okay? So very, very practical. The feminine is very receptive, so you'll start receiving again. And I get also that, okay, thanks, Jaya, that I need to get more present. I can do that. But I want to go deeper with this hack. How do you get present? Because there are so many ways. One of my favorite ways to get present is dancing. You don't just have to meditate to get present or lay in your bed. You can dance, you can sing. Another way to connect to your spirit that is unexpected is fearless. Be fearless. Face a fear. Sing in public. Try that one. Sometimes when I'm walking down the street, I literally just force myself to twirl around, like just for fun, because it's like scary. It's like embarrassing potentially, but I do it and then I'm not scared. And your spirit is presence, love, fearlessness. So the more you become fearless or face a fear, you get more present. See how that works? So dancing, singing, being fearless, you know, there's so many ways. Doing something you love. Your spirit is love. So when you do something you love, you get more present. You know when you get present too, right? Laughing is a really, really good one. Your spirit is joy. So being joyful, you know? And this leads me into the third big thing that I wanted to tell you, which is the last big thing for this video, is that there are actually 4 different types of feminine energy. And I taught a masterclass on this, and it's just really, really fascinating that there are 4 different types of feminine energy. When we're talking about getting present, right, it's actually different depending on your feminine energy type. And the types correspond with, surprise, the 4 elements. So there's fire feminine, there's earth feminine, there's water feminine, and there's air feminine. And you will fall under primarily one of these 4 categories. Fire feminine is like, you need to like go out there and be stimulated by life. You need adventure. That's how you get present. So if somebody's telling you, get into your feminine energy by laying in your bed, if you're a fire feminine, that won't really work for you. Makes sense? And if you are a water feminine, then you like to flow. Like you like to get up and you like to, you know, do one thing and then you're like, oh, I should do this now, or I should do this now, right? Like you kind of just flow between things. That feels most natural for you. Or if you're an earth feminine, you do just kind of like stay still. And that helps you get present. Or if you are an air feminine, you're very social and you like the exchange of energy. So you'll get present by going out to coffee with your friends. You'll get present by listening to a podcast, by being on a podcast. You will, you know, go out, have conversations with people. Exchanging of energy makes you feel present. So depending on what makes you feel the most present, that's your feminine energy type. And then beneath that is going to be your subtype. And I call your subtype your like emergency type, because I, for example, am a water feminine. I function best. That's why you watch me like flow from one thing to another, because that's like where I feel most comfortable. But if I'm in like a feminine energy emergency, like when I was homeless, for example, I have to stay still, like literally not move, like that, like just with jazz hands, like but like I can't move. And I have to feel, it's like I have to feel my spirit wake up again. Like I have to literally wait for that click in like my body, my energy. And once I'm there, then I can go into my natural state of water. But I believe we all have like kind of an emergency subtype. So that's something to think about as well. If you have questions, you can comment and ask me. But yeah, I want you to think about the qualities of those 4 types that I described and think about which one sounds the most like you on a normal day, and then which sounds like what you go to rescue yourself. Like when you are completely burned out, what brings you back to life? And there's no right or wrong. It's just like feel out for that. So those are the tips. I hope that makes sense, how they all connect to wealth, because again, once your feminine energy is back, you will start attracting, you will start getting the best ideas, you will start getting clarity, getting the best way to go about something, what to do. And also your feminine is very receptive, so you'll be able to receive again. It'll be easy to receive. And I find when your feminine's connected, always look for the ways that you're receiving, even that aren't wealth. Just watch how you'll receive more and more, because when that frequency in your energy is alive, like it's like a Wi-Fi connection. It's like you can really tell when it's on or off, and like when it's on, like you can tell, because people will hold doors open for you. They'll be really considerate of you. They want to give you stuff, and and yeah, and that includes wealth, of course. Like it's just you become more receptive in general. So these are all really hacks for wealth. And I know the feminine stuff is more geared toward women, but well, in the energy queeniverse, that is sort of like my specialty, because I am a woman. So sorry, men have had lots of attention. Women get more attention when I speak. It's just okay, deal with okay. I love all of you. Anyway, but yeah, like I hope all the tips can help anybody who's listening. And yeah, it's just feminine energy is my specialty, so that's what I talk about. But masculine energy is so fascinating too. I mean, they're really equal. But I just feel like women need kind of more education and attention, because we weren't taught these things about our own energy and the way it functions. So that's why I go into detail about it. And I'll leave you with one more really fun hack that just came to me while I was talking. And that's this thing that I did. I'm going to do it with you here on video. I'm going to teach you how to do it. And it is so hilarious. It came from me one time when I was still living in Canada. I was living in a small city, Fredericton, New Brunswick, and it was like notorious for not, at that time, for not, there was like no jobs. Like you couldn't get a job. You couldn't just like go get a job. And I printed off like so many resumes, and I decided like, I'm just gonna like go into every place and just give them a resume. And I just like did it. And I started doing this thing that I didn't even realize I was doing. It just started happening in my energy. And it started just getting really fascinating results. Eventually it got me a job, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it did. So what it is you have to be with, it works best if you are with somebody in person, because it's about eye contact. But basically what you do is you look into their eyes. Okay, so I'm gonna like pretend I'm doing it with you. So you look into the black dot, the pupil. You look in that black dot, okay? You see it? You make eye contact like that with them. And you look deep in the black dot. And while looking in the black dot, you say, in your mind, not out loud, you say to yourself, we are the same. We We are the same. You say that in your mind while staring deeply into that black dot. We are the same. Because when you look at that black dot, you're going to see that it looks like your black dot, your pupil. It looks like it's the same. In them is the same thing that's in you. And you look at that deeply and you tell yourself, we are the same. And they will feel that energy. You can probably feel it right now. And they will want to give you something. Because when we realize that we are somebody else, what do we want? What is this whole video about? Receiving. Right? We want to receive. So if I see you as me, I will want to give to you because I want to receive. Make sense? People were giving me free coffee, free food. Like, I was like, what is happening? And I didn't even do it on purpose. I just sort of looked deeply in someone's eyes and realized while I was looking deep in their pupil that, oh my God, we're the same. And I just like stared at them, realizing that. And then they were like, do you want some coffee? Do you want some food? And I was like, what? And they just wanted to give me stuff. And that is a really powerful, it's not like hypnosis, it's not cheating, it's just a hack. Technically, we're talking about hacks for receiving. Yeah, receiving more. And it gives people joy to give to you because it is the truth. We all are connected. When you give to me, you are giving to yourself. We're all part of one bigger Holy Spirit, the body of Christ. We're all the same. We're all part of that same thing. So when they give to you, that's why generosity is also a nice hack as well. If you're generous as a person, you will always be receiving. It's just the way it works because energetically you're giving to yourself. It's going to come back to you. So I'm going to wrap it up there. And if that made you want to give me, I'm kidding. Yeah, but if you want to send me something, no, maybe I'll put my link in the description if you feel like you want to, because anyway, I'm just gonna go. This has been really fun. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope you got a lot from it. This is